So I think this video is a relatively special video when it comes to covering Harman Smith, because in this video, you're going to see him play Elden Ring. And we're also going to cover one of his videos in this after he did some of the gameplay. We're going to see what his newest thoughts on the game really is. And it's also going to be funny to look at some of his gameplay and, you know, haha, you got filtered, Harman. No, skill issue. Get filtered, idiot. I don't really have much to say, I just thought I'd say that. It adds a bit of character to this video. But for the most part, let's just go in with no expectations on Harman. Let's see how he performs in the game. But we should also keep in mind before going into it that he's made more than like 50 videos talking about Elden Ring over the course of 2 years, so I just want you to keep that in mind. He's got a lot of criticism, and I'm sure he knows how to make this game better, and I'm sure he's going to show us how he's going to make this game better. Oh, and I might as well quickly mention this, I have a Twitter account now. I repurposed my old one, so if you want to come say hi, and I don't know, talk to me, if you don't make it into the Discord whenever I open that up again for a little bit, you can come say hi. You want to send me salt from any of the platforms, go ahead. I'm more than willing to do it, and if I get enough, I'll make a video and I'll credit you for anything that you find. So there you go, there's my Twitter. We'll see how long it lasts before I do something silly on the platform and get banned.
Instead of just sitting here editing.
Harman, you do not edit. You literally do nothing to your videos. You sit there, record them, then upload them. You don't cut out anything in your videos. You don't even remove the parts where you're drinking water for like a good 5 to 10 seconds. If your videos are editing, mine are masterpieces of just absolute great work. They are the best of editing that any man will ever see, and if you use any other content creator that does way more than me, they're godlike by that standard.
Really? Patches? Okay, this is proof that this is not a new IP. If Patches is in the fucking game.
Harman, it's a From Software game. He's gonna be in almost all of them because it's tradition to put him in there. And that's a really weird complaint that this isn't a new IP because one character appears in multiple others. It's just fan service at the end of the day. You can't spell a Souls game without Patches. And also, how dare you shit talk my boy Lap. I miss him. Bring him back. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be the last man standing in Dark Souls 3. He's a hero, truly.
Yeah, that guy, this is basically just that thing in A Link to the Past. Well, the ball and chain. This is so boring.
Harman, if you need a hit of dopamine, TikTok is always right there on your phone, because I know you don't have the attention span to play most games, and it kinda shocks me that you're able to play games, you know, since you're able to move your fingers and all that. That's honestly shocking. That's a big workout for you, big boy.
Look at that! All you had to do, wow. Whoosh. Oops.
It would really help, Harman, if you just sat back and paid attention a little bit more to what the boss is doing so you don't just waste a heal. It would probably save you and make the fight go a little bit faster if you just play a little bit more smarter. But you know, that may be a bit of a weird request and a bit of criticism towards your gameplay, but for the most part, that's kind of what you need if you want to succeed here. You've already wasted a lot of them, you don't want to keep wasting them, you know what I mean?
It's a little bit fast, so we have to get our timing down. Yeah, why do I keep getting hit by shift damage? I don't understand what's going on with that. Yeah, his sword is so long that I'm having problems, like, counterattacking. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Fuck.
If you just tried not trading with the enemy or trying to do a counter, you could easily just, you know, dodge it, and it would be pretty much no issue. It's probably the best way to fight most bosses, by using your big brain to dodge at the right time.
No idea where to go. fuck? I'm fighting, like, the stupid thing instead of the... Yeah, I couldn't even focus on the invader, because, like... Uh... Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm bored.
Man really got filtered by an NPC. That's just depressing. I don't know about you boys, but I feel like you could have done a bit more to fix that issue instead of just, being an idiot and not trying to just, stand there and take it. You could have just dodged it like a normal human, You could have seen the little orb come to you and, dodge it, but I guess not. I guess you've got more important things to attend to, like your really high-edited videos. So let's go react to one of them.
So just like that, Elden Ring is completely forgotten.
I don't get why you keep saying this. You say that Elden Ring is forgotten, then you proceed to make like 50 videos and often like 3 or 4 videos a week talking about Elden Ring ever since the DLC's launched. Like, why even bother saying it's forgotten at this point? It doesn't make any sense.
People will keep making their little YouTube videos, they'll keep making their lore speculation videos, and it's all gonna get dropped when the sequel comes out, right? It's all gonna be the same thing all over again. And much like with Dark Souls, much like with Demon Souls, you are going to see this major drop-off of established fans who just begin to realize that there is no innovation, there is no change, there is no evolution. Like, Elden Ring is the same thing it's always been since Demon Souls, right?
It's hideous!
Well, obviously they're gonna keep making their formula that they've created and improve upon it. It's pretty normal for most companies to do that. Nintendo will do it. Microsoft will do it, Sony will do it, everyone will do it because that's what is expected when you find a formula that people like. I don't get how you think that this is a bad thing. Think of it this way, they expanded upon Breath of the Wild with Tears of the Kingdom. Can you see what they did there? They added a whole building system that people really liked. And trying to say that From Software doesn't innovate when you've seen them go out of their way to change how combat is, I mean, one thing they haven't really fixed at all is PvP, one day they'll take us back to the golden age of Dark Souls 3, we could only dream. But for the most part, they've made combat a lot more interesting. You can add Ash of Wars to your weapons, you can now go around an entire open world, and for their first attempt, it's pretty good. It's not the worst open world you've ever actually played. It's actually a pretty good open world for the most part. Everything still has that From Software charm within it. Of course, it could be improved, but that's where their sequel is going to come in, and I'm sure they're going to improve it, as From Software doesn't like to let down their player base. Except us PvP guys, we'll always be forgotten. Maybe one day From Software will take us back to that golden age. I can only pray to my Miyazaki shrine for that.
Over and over and over again. Like, From Slop is going to be seen for the fraudulent, uncreative, rehashed hacks that they are. It is going to be great to see. And I would like to think back to the mid-2000s where, games like Mass Effect and Portal, BioShock were hyped up to similar levels of Elden Ring. Right, these were the games that were pushed as being like these major innovators, these huge phenomenons, like the defining moments in gaming culture. Oh, these are the best games coming out right now.
I may have paused the video at the wrong time, but I think I got myself a good picture for the thumbnail. Well, Harman, you may have aged 50 years in that singular still frame, but I can use this to a good advantage. I thank you very much for your contribution.
I remember watching X-Play in 2007 and just being confused at all the games they were talking about. None of this stuff looks good.
I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with you on that. Personally, I've never played Mass Effect, but I'm going to. I will play it, and I'm gonna love it. And if I don't, well, that's a skill issue on my part.
Right? The PlayStation 360 generation was a complete joke.
Personally, I believe that was the last good generation or the greatest generation of consoles since I was raised on that one. I mainly played Xbox 360. I own one now. I jailbroke one recently. It was actually pretty fun. But compared to the newer generations, I believe that one was genuinely either the best or one of the best generations we could have, as games back then weren't trying to nickel and dime us for all of our money and weren't releasing complete garbage constantly. So I don't know about you. I think that's just a genuine L take from you.
Because game journals were throwing all their weight behind trying to make games look serious and mature and sophisticated, like, and trying to like pass themselves off as like real auteurs of the medium. Meanwhile, real gamers like myself were playing almost exclusively on Nintendo consoles.
Harman, I would consider myself a certified real gamer because I spent most of my time after coming home from school playing on the 360 getting yelled at by older men on Call of Duty and learning a lot of big and colorful words like a normal man. And eventually, just moving over to Destiny and no-lifing that game because I swear that game has probably got the most time played that I've ever had on any game. At least I can firmly say that I can solo pretty much all the raids and that with all the funny new glitches since the game isn't being supported anymore. I hate you, Destiny 2. I will never play you. I will never like you after what you did. Destiny 1 will remain supreme and will always be the superior Destiny game. I wait patiently for an Xbox One emulator to bring all the DLCs over so I can play it on PC.
It is shocking how much better like something like Super Mario Galaxy is compared to all of the games that were actually being talked about around that period, right? You know, just it's kind of phenomenal how Super Mario Galaxy has still retained its relevancy, you know, almost 20 years later, while, you know, BioShock and everything else has just fallen by the wayside. Right?
Are you telling me that's gonna actually compete with, like, Halo 3 and all that? I don't know about you, mate, but if we're going off the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, there were a lot of big games. And Nintendo at that point, I don't remember being that big or that noticeable at the time. Like, of course they were still there, but they weren't pooling in numbers like the 360. They didn't have big releases like Call of Duty. You know, remember when Black Ops was at its peak? You know, the absolute peak it's ever been?
Right. Again, nobody looks back fondly on Fallout 3. Nobody looks back fondly on Skyrim. You know, nobody looks fondly back on the Mass Effect games or like anything, right?
I would have to disagree from personal experience. I played the absolute shit out of Skyrim. And I mean, I would go home and play that almost every day when I would do my Elder Scrolls binge. I played the absolute shit out of Fallout 3. I think there are a lot of people that look back on those games very fondly for when they first played it or really got a good mileage out of the games. Regardless of what you may think of those games now, I think they're absolutely garbage. You know, actually using my brain power to realize, you know, Bethesda was never actually good at making games, and the last one they actually made was good was Oblivion, but you know, I know, hot take there.
Like, these games simply did not stand the test of time because without their huge game journalist hype cycle, they fundamentally don't have anything, right? If you go into Mass Effect, you know, and without the game journalists telling you that, like, oh, your choices matter, like, you'll realize very quickly that, like, your choices don't matter. Like, nothing you do really affects the plot in Mass Effect in any real way. And that, of course, led to Mass Effect 3 coming out, and that...
Okay, just a quick question. What does this all have to do with Elden Ring? I didn't know Elden Ring was associated to so many other games. Like, where does Elden Ring come to actually look back at this, and how do all these fit back into Elden Ring? Like, I don't get why you're mentioning all these games when the video should just be directly about Elden Ring. You've spent more time talking about other games that isn't Elden Ring. Why do you even bother making these videos?
Led to the ending, and that led to, like, you know, the slow, gradual decline of EA as a whole, right? Again, Metal Gear Solid 4 was worshipped when it came out. Like, oh, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And now it's looked back on as a joke, right? You know, I've seen YouTubers make damage control videos trying to justify, like, MGS4's popularity at the time. But the reality of it is just, like, the audience was just, you know, willing to defend Kojima at all costs, right? It didn't matter that he had put out a bad game. It didn't matter that MGS4 was a step down from 3 in every way, shape, and form. Like, it didn't matter that, like, the story made no sense and that, like, the characters were mishandled and that, like,
I think a lot of people will still be playing Elden Ring just like people still play Skyrim to this day. They will be modding it, they will be messing around with it, they'll be doing silly challenges. Just remember, a goldfish completed Elden Ring. If you can't complete Elden Ring, you're losing to a goldfish. Very little interesting thing, I didn't know that, but yeah. There's a lot of interesting ways that you can replay these games, and Souls games typically have a lot of replay value in them. I don't think Souls games will ever really be forgotten. Even to this day, I still go around playing the original trilogy because I find them fun. They're very, I would say, fun and engaging games, depending on how you want to play them and how you want to build your characters. But since you bring up Metal Gear, I do not like Kojima. I think he stinks. He's not that cool. I don't think he was ever that great of a game director. Maybe his older games are really cool, I just don't care for any of his new stuff. You know what? I think I'm gonna leave this video here. You're not really talking about Elden Ring anymore, so you stink. Make a video where you actually talk about the game for the entire video, and I don't know, help me reach 2,000 subs. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.